So today we're putting cheap Ryobi tools up against their pro equivalents and we're going to put them to the test. We'll test some of the most common tools from drills, impact drivers, circular saws and multi-tools. Ryobi are known for DIY performance at a budget, but can they keep up with Makita, DeWalt and Milwaukee? We're going to test power, speed and build quality, and we'll find out at the end if they're actually worth it. Straight into the first tool, and the first one we're going to test today is Ryobi's Combi Drill. There's a reason I'm putting it up against the Milwaukee as well, and it's because in some cases Milwaukee is actually made in the same factory as Ryobi, and they're owned by the same company, so I think that's quite a good comparison to kick us off. Now this one here is actually only £65. That's the cheapest I could find this Combi Drill for. £65, so it could be an absolute bargain, and this one is £150, so quite the difference. Now as usual, when we test tools on this channel, we don't just look at them on a bench, we're actually going to put them to the test. So let's start by putting a big flat wood bit, 32mm, through this bit of timber, and we should be able to find out how this thing copes. And from the off, it struggles. Yes, a big 32mm bit is a pretty hard task, but you can see it just doesn't have the torque to get through that bit of timber, and it keeps jamming up, and I have to reverse it and try again. Struggling. And after a bit of an argument, eventually we do get through the bit of timber. Woo! It's come loose. So the little Ryobi has really struggled with the torque there, struggled to get through that bit of timber, but remember that is a pretty big wood bit, even on Milwaukee could struggle yet, so let's give that a try. Straight away the chuck is nicer, much more positive. The Milwaukee went through there no trouble, even though this is a pretty hard task. But let's give our little Ryobi another go on another common DIY test. And we're going to switch this over to hammer. Of course it has the usual functions on the top. We've got drill, we've got hammer drill, and we've got screw function with a clutch as well, which we will try out in a minute. But let's pop a hole in this concrete block and see how it gets on. Quite a common little DIY job that, and it did handle that pretty well. Now of course there shouldn't really be a problem for this drill. Now of course the Milwaukee went through there easily. Both did a pretty capable job though. You wouldn't really need to buy this drill if you were just doing jobs like this, because well, the Ryobi did the job no problem. Now we're going to test the clutch, and both of these drills have got a brand new PZ screw bit. Another common job that you'll use a Combi for, and the purpose of this test is really to check the clutch works as it should. Want it one level higher, just there. Perfect. That actually works really well. No complaints at all with the clutch on the Ryobi. Of course the Milwaukee makes easy work of it. It's pretty much as you'd expect really. The Ryobi is packed full of features. I actually think the quality is quite nice, except for maybe the chuck, which is a bit plasticky. The problem is it definitely lacks the speed, the power and the torque of the pro level tools. But let's move on to the next one and see if it's any better. Impact drivers next. The second tool that most of us will probably invest in our collection. And we're putting the Ryobi that's £80, so not actually that cheap, up against the DeWalt, which is £105. This is the top of the range DeWalt. Both of them are brushless, both of them have a light, both of them have multiple speed controls, so we'll put them all up to their top speed. The Ryobi does have an automatic function, but we'll put it up to power 3 for this test. One thing that does impress me, one touch for your bit change, is something you normally only find on the more expensive tools, but the Ryobi actually does have that feature. So this is not going to be an easy test for either of these tools. We're going to drive these huge timber screws down through 9 inches of tannalized timber. Wow, the little Ryobi surprised me there. That's certainly a big improvement on the Combi Drill. Now when we tested the About range, which I'll pop a link to that in the description by the way, because that's worth checking out, a few of you pointed out that having a tool in my right hand may do better than having it in my left hand. So we run it again, just to make sure that that doesn't actually make a difference. There you go, right hand didn't matter. The Ryobi still won, and it surprised me. It's an extremely powerful little tool. Now the next tool we're going to test, a lot of brands slip up on. There's loads of bad examples on the market, so let's see if Ryobi can do any better. But before we do that, I want you to drop down in the comments, because I read every single comment, and let me know, be honest, what tool brand you use at home. Circular saw next. A lot of brands mess up on these. We've seen a few bad examples in the past on the channel. Let's see if Ryobi have actually produced produced a decent saw. This one is £77, so it's a bit of a bargain, versus around £175 for the Makita. So a lot more money to go for a pro tool in a circular saw. Interestingly, this little circular saw has a really small blade. It's only a 150mm blade, and that only gives it a 45mm depth of cut. Now, most common circular saws that you buy from other brands have a 165mm blade, which gives it a 57mm depth of cut. So this isn't going to cut as deep as something like this. The quality for the money seems pretty good. It's got two nice solid handles, a good base plate. You can adjust the angles on the base plate so that you can cut at things like 45 degrees. It's got a dust extractor, we'll test that in a moment, and we can adjust the depth of the circular saw as well. So it's got all the right features. The only thing I can see that it's missing is a light. Okay, I'm not sure if you heard that. The quality actually seems pretty good, apart from the bearing. The bearing sounds really noisy. Listen to the equivalent. Now, I can't vouch for how long Ryobi tools are going to last you, but they do give you a 3-year guarantee for that little bit of peace of mind. So I'm not sure if there's an issue with the bearing there. The other thing you'll notice, when I let go of the trigger, there's no brake, so that is a little bit dangerous. You can live with it, it's not going to cause you an issue, but a lot of the other saws, they actually break. So when you let go of that trigger, you know, if your finger's going to get in the way, which it shouldn't, it's going to stop instantly. But you have got to remember, the Makita is nearly 3 times the money. Now let's put them to the test and see how it performs. 5x2 tannalized timber, and you can see I've popped a couple of lines on there. My initial impressions are that the power, the accuracy and the control on the saw are really good. The only issue is the amount of dust. So this was hooked up to a very expensive £500 Makita 40-volt extractor, and it did next to nothing. Now you might think that doesn't matter, especially if you're working outside and it's cheap and you're not too bothered. The problem with that is, well, I couldn't see the line because look at that lot. It actually meant that when I got to the end of the cut and the plate went past the end of the piece of timber, normally you'd look through the back of the plate and you'd be able to see your blade following that last piece of cut. You can't do that because it doesn't extract anything. So although we've got a very good extractor on there, I'd say the extraction is next to useless, which is a bit of a disappointment because the rest of the cut was actually really good. This was its maximum depth. You can see it only just cut through there, but power, speed, all fine. Quality, not too bad. It's lacking that brake, and it's certainly lacking extraction because that does nothing. Now I think it's only fair you get a good comparison. So let's run the Makita through and you'll see how much of a difference proper extraction actually makes. As expected, the Makita goes through there really easily, much more power. It's got the brake, it's got a light on it, which is a nice little feature. You can definitely see the line a lot easier with that. And with the extractor, I wasn't blind when I got to the end of my cut like I was with the Ryobi. A lot of people mess up with circular saws, and I suppose, okay, it's cheap. If you're using it once a week, maybe it'll do the job. Otherwise, they've missed a trick with that one. Let's move on to tool number 4. Multi-tools next, and we're going back to Milwaukee to put up against Ryobi for this next test because they're distant cousins. One thing I hate straight away from the Milwaukee, doesn't stand up. I like a multi-tool that stands up. Anyway, that's personal preference. Now we're gonna get straight into it and see how these two handle vibration and noise. The same brand new blade is in each of these multi-tools for our test, and I'm setting both of them to their top speeds. There's not that many features in these things, maybe a light and some different speed settings, but it's all about that vibration and noise. Now I found this little Ryobi for just £80, and I do quite like the paddle switch on it. I quite like paddle switch multi-tools. And straight away you can feel it's got plenty of power. It's quite an accurate tool and there's no real complaints. The only thing is, it doesn't really handle the vibration particularly well, and it is quite noisy as you use it, so you definitely want to use some air protection, not like I am here. So for £80, that's done really well. Let's see if the Milwaukee can do any better. There's a lot of vibration and noise, but it's like that across the board for most multi-tools. The only brand I've ever come across that handles vibration and noise really well is Makita with their anti-vibration technology. So let's see, is there really any point in spending more money and getting a Milwaukee, or will the Ryobi do the job? Initially when I picked these up, I didn't feel like there was much difference, but you can definitely feel there's less flex through the head of this one versus this one. And you can feel the Milwaukee definitely does handle that vibration a bit better when you're actually using it. The Makita is better than the Milwaukee still, in my opinion, but the differences are minimal, and for the money, I think this one's actually quite a good little bargain. If you guys are enjoying this video, hit subscribe for me. Loads of you don't even know you're not subscribed, so hit that subscribe button, then you won't miss out on future videos. And please hit the like button below, it does me a massive favour and allows this video to reach more people. The last tool we're going to test today is the 115mm cordless grinder. Now this one is actually only £80, in fact I think it's $79.99, and this DeWalt is £125. Granted, this one's got a slightly smaller disc in here because this is actually a 125mm grinder, whereas this is a 115mm grinder. I like the feel of the paddle style switch on the Ryobi. I prefer it to the switch on the DeWalt, which feels a little bit heavy and annoying to use. And the Ryobi has some nice features as well, like the rotating guard and the concealed chuck key. But having said all of that, they're both nice tools. This actually feels like one of the more premium heavy-duty quality tools from the Ryobi range that we've tested today. But let's test it on a cut and test and see if it's a good tool and if it can stand up to this DeWalt. So I spent some time using both tools to cut down some of them timber screws that we used with the impact driver earlier. They're quite a thick, hard screw, and both tools inspired good confidence. They were really nice to use, and I couldn't really tell much difference between the two. They were both very good. Decent tool that. I actually quite like that one. I can't really see, unless you've already got a DeWalt collection, why you'd spend the extra on this one. They perform pretty much identically. So the final verdict, are the Pro tools really worth 2 or 3 times more money than cheap tools like the Ryobi? Well, I think some cheap brands do it well. Ryobi, and they're not done a very good job here. There's a few standout tools. The circular saw's not very good though. The Combi's not very good. Grinder's good. Impact's good. The multi-tool, not too bad. If you're doing the odd job, a couple of times a year, once a month, once a week, they're good enough for you. Otherwise, Ryobi definitely need to step up their game. But let me know what you think and what you want me to test next. And if you do want to see a cheap brand that can still stand up to pro use, well, click this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.